Hello, and welcome back to Diecast Graveyard. My name is Paul. Thanks for joining me today, and I'm glad you're here. Today we've got a Ford Anglia panel truck, and we're going to customize this bad boy with a really cool paint job, and just show you a couple tips and tricks on things that I do to get the results that I do. Well, let's go ahead, grab your favorite adult beverage, and join in on today's custom with this beautiful Hot Wheels Ford Anglia. Let's get started with today's build.
It's time to start the autopsy.
I've already drilled out the posts, so let's go ahead and take the car apart. This is a custom from a event years ago, and I just liked the way the truck looked. Here's the base. Those wheels are absolutely perfect and real riders, so we're not gonna mess with those. That looks great. Windshield, there it is. Here's the interior. Now the interior is already painted white, and we're going to go ahead and leave it like that. But that engine looks pretty sweet too. And here's the body. The hood opens up so you can see the engine. That looks pretty great. I like that when it comes to those details. But that looks pretty good. We're going to have a really good build here. Let's go ahead and continue. Here we've got the citrus strip, or as I call it, the embalming fluid. Make sure you coat the whole inside and outside of the vehicle, because we're going to do a complete color change on this vehicle. And if you do it like this and just use a little bit, that citrus strip will last you a very, very long time. Now you could even keep reusing this for a while, and people have asked me in the past, how long can you use this stuff? And my answer straightforward to them was, as long as it keeps working. So there you go. Now, sometimes you just don't want a lot of those paint chips and all the other stuff in there, but hey, you're only going to toss it anyway, so knock yourself out. Let's let that set, and we'll get back to it when it's done.
Meanwhile, back in the graveyard.
We cleaned it up, and now we're going to go ahead and give it a white primer coat. Here I've got some Tamiya surface primer. This stuff is really good. The Tamiya primer is fantastic. It's one of the very few things that I'll use out of a spray can. Just don't saturate it. Get it good and get it nice, and try and get the underside too inside the vehicle if you plan on painting that. But yeah, just do a little bit here. Let it dry for a while, and if you have to, go ahead and reapply that coat. You got to give the paint you're going to put on something else to stick to. Let's go ahead and continue. Let's go ahead and paint this up. The first color we're going to use is Createx Purple Pearl. Now this is a beautiful color, and the iridescence that it shows when the light hits it just right is absolutely incredible. Make sure you make some nice sweeping motions with your airbrush. Now the people from Createx, they recommend that you use a 0.5 needle when you're doing this. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and click on that little bell to be alerted to any future videos that come out. If you're getting anything out of these videos, folks, please go ahead and mash that like button, because it really does help me out. And if you don't subscribe, please do. I definitely will keep on making these videos, but I gotta have an audience to do it. Now there's going to be a whole bunch of colors here that we're going to put on. So there's going to be a bunch of drying times in between, but you won't have to wait for the drying times. So like I said, let's go ahead and get that purple down. And you don't want to put this stuff down too heavy, because it will run, okay? I'm actually using an airbrush with a 0.3 needle, my Pache Talon airbrush, and I had to thin it down quite a bit. But if you can get yourself an airbrush with a 0.5 needle, that'd be great. It'll definitely help you out. This is looking pretty good. Let's go ahead and let this dry for a while and we'll go to the next color. All right, I've cut out some unusual shapes that I want to do. And what this is doing here is it's covering up the purple. So what I want to do here is, now that the purple portions are covered by the shapes that I cut out, I go ahead now and I spray it down with a white primer. But the purple that is underneath the pieces that I cut out is still there in purple. That's looking pretty good. All right, we're going to put some other colors down now. Very first one I'm going to put down here is a fluorescent yellow. Just put it on very, very light. You'll have to build up a few coats on this. We'll get that yellow down and we'll go to the next color. All right, we let it set for a bit. Now we're going to come in with a fluorescent orange. I'm trying to get it to fade from the orange to the yellow. So be careful not to cover the yellow that you want to stay yellow. And there is today's tip from your Uncle Paulie. Let's let that settle a bit. Okay, it's still a little bit wet, but like I said, give it a little bit of time to tack up, and then we're going to go ahead here and put in another coat of the fluorescent orange. That's covering nicely. Looking good. Let's go ahead and let that dry a bit, then we'll peel off that tape. Okay, here's what we're looking at. That turned out pretty good. I got a few places I want to touch up, but that turned out excellent. Let's go ahead and let that dry, and then when we're done, we're going to clear coat it, and that'll be absolutely beautiful.
I love how the moonlight shines over the mausoleum.
Here's the pieces parts. We got the body, we got the base with those beautiful wheels. Like I said, we're going to leave those alone. That's fantastic. Here's the windshield. It's all clean and ready to go. Here's the interior. Yeah, that body, that clear coat really helped it out. Let's give our creation life.
Life! Life, do you hear me? Give my creation life!
And here's what we started with. This Ford Anglia panel truck. This thing is really cool and it makes an excellent hot rod. We went ahead and we took it apart. We stripped off the paint. We did a custom paint job on this bad boy that I believe looks absolutely stunning. We didn't touch the interior because it was already painted, and we've got those beautiful wheels on there and they look fantastic too. But this thing was a lot of fun, and I hope you pick up some tips from learning how to paint. That's my goal here, is to teach you folks. And as I always say, you can do this too. Just try it, experiment. Get your supplies from spraygunner.com. They are an incredible company, and they got a lot of airbrush supplies, etc. to help you out. And this is what we got to. Look how nice this looks. This is a beautiful, beautiful paint job with the pearls and everything. And then we got that custom fade from the fluorescent orange to the fluorescent yellow. Absolutely stunning. I'm very, very happy with this vehicle, and it looks fantastic. I'm definitely happy with the way this turned out. If you got any questions about anything, go ahead and put them in the comments. I do my best to answer them all. Here's a couple of glamour shots. That looks really nice. Absolutely beautiful. This was a lot of fun. I truly enjoyed it. Thank you for joining me today on Diecast Graveyard. We've got a lot more videos coming up in the future, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And thank you again for joining me here today. If there's something you'd like to see, put it in the comments. Thank you, and cheers.